I guess we shouldn't be saying that word because the algorithm.
All
know
good.
over that period of time, a lot of us, all of us across the world was like, what is going on?
Wasn't a great time.
There were lineup books.
So I was looking at it, and for a second I was like, okay, what's going on here? Because obviously something happened. You were making banana bread jam, is what happened.
Yeah.
You accidentally pressed the jam button instead of the bread button.
If anybody
at some
has
points.
a bread maker, you know that you've got to click the right, it's called the right mode. So when you're baking, one of my cousins was in, not the beer tent, but was in one of the eating tents, and she was struck by lightning that day when it hit.
Ooh.
So following years after, my cousin Kim,
And also, while I was in therapy for reasons that we'll get into, I was also pretty definitively diagnosed with it by my therapist with social anxiety, which pretty much just means really large groups and social situations I mentally just sort of have trouble dealing with.
This wonderful episode of TCL is sponsored by Mason Bennett John Cox Lawyers. Buying or selling your home is one of your largest financial decisions, so it's important to have a professional with you at all times. With over 30 years of experience, Patrick Bennett is your trusted advisor in residential, rural, cottage, and commercial real estate law. Patrick is thorough and efficient, offering his extensive knowledge in real estate. His hands-on approach provides you with the confidence that you have a well-rounded professional working for you. Contact Mason Bennett John Cox today.
Hey, we're here, we're back. How's it going?
every time you do it that way, I'm like,
hey, well.
Yeah, how are you?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad. Not doing too bad at all. How are you?
I'm good. I have to apologize to our dear listeners, a little on the tired side today. It's been just busy.
It's been a long month.
Yeah, our business is picking up. In between filming, I'm answering phone call, and I got an agent here, and we
got what, 7 listings, 8 between everyone on the team.
We have our 8th listing is hitting the market in Oakville. It's a condo in Oakville. It's coming on the market. I feel like it's the 27th. So one of our team members is out there today doing the second half of the pictures because it got, anyways, it's a great condo. It's a brand new one coming on the market. So it's been a little bit hectic, but I feel like we say that a lot.
True, that's kind of a running theme.
Repetitive, but we're filming a little later in the day today for everybody. And this old lady, she goes to bed early.
Well, I mean, you have
But I'm up early.
You're up early, and you've got a busy life in general.
Yeah, I'm up anywhere between usually 4 a.m. and 4:15, which is crazy in itself. But I think that I think even if I wanted to sleep in, my body is like, nope.
You tell people all the time, whether
it's our
it be
stupid cat.
In general or just whenever, what time you wake up. And every single time, everyone's response is like,
what the heck?
Every single time.
But you know what? It's really interesting to me because clearly we're not playing any games today. As
not
everybody
today.
Can
we
tell.
Did Guess the
We're
Smell
not,
last week. This week we're taking some time to just chat.
But it's very interesting to me because you and I are very, very health conscious. We're very much workout, you go to the gym every day.
Yep.
We eat a lot of salads. We don't eat a lot of carbs either. We're very health conscious. And for me, getting up at 4:00 in the morning started because I've always been very avid about going to the gym. It's been part of what makes me feel good about myself, I guess, even mentally. so I just was kind of taking it. I always knew that going to the gym for me had to be first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Because then when I'm on my way home, I feel so good about the rest of my day and it's out of the way.
Yeah, I
Then
think
you
that's
get
the
it out
big
of the
thing.
way.
I know some people like to do their gym like after work, sometime in the afternoon or the evening. I can't do it. For me, it has to be in
First
the morning.
thing. Yeah. I know you go before 8 a.m. But when the 4 o'clock in the morning started happening for me was because I was getting busier and busier this particular year, especially right when COVID first started, before all the lockdowns
Yeah.
and stuff. I was like, holy smoke, I can't even fit it in at 7. So I started adjusting my gym schedule to be at the gym by 5:30 in the morning,
Right.
which meant waking up now an hour earlier. And I did that for probably 2 straight years.
Right.
After that, my body no longer lets me sleep in, even though I don't go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning anymore.
Now,
So
there
that's
was-
what started the
There was
trend.
also an unintended side effect with that, which is that we've talked about it here and there, but we are very much cat lovers. We've had cats for the last several years, whether it be one or another, and they always sleep with you in your bed.
Not they,
Well,
One.
the ones we've
Yeah,
had.
yeah. our
But
cat now. Yeah.
when they go to bed with you and you wake up at 4 in the morning, it trains them to wake up at 4 in the morning. So now
Yeah.
when you have a day where you're like, oh, you know what, maybe
Maybe I'll
I'd like
sleep
to
till
sleep in
6.
a little bit more, the
Yeah.
cat's like,
No.
well, how dare you?
You're
I'm going to
getting
make
up.
it my mission to give you as many bruises as possible until you get
Yeah,
out
he
of
was
that
pretty
bed.
brutal this morning. Our storm can start sometimes at 3:30 a.m. And you know what? And I'm an animal lover.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah, I
It's
think we
not
both
even
are.
just cats. It's except for bats.
Yeah.
I feel like we've
We've talked about
we
that.
definitely
We've
all
covered
know
that.
about that. But the key for cats, which I learned the extremely wrong way, and even when I was with your dad for 25 years and we got Charlie, the cat,
Yeah.
when you feed a cat, when you get up in the morning, I mean, that's it. That cat now needs to be fed when that time normally comes
They
up.
are
So
creatures of specific
I've
schedules.
learned from somebody that's a very, very good person with all pets in general. This person should have been a vet, saying the worst thing you can do is feed your animals as soon as you get up in the morning, because now that's going to be their norm. So anyways, we're
And
not here to
and Dad
talk
learned
about
that the hard way
cats,
too. Yeah.
but
Uh,
it's my own drawback, I guess.
So I think
Yep.
what we were thinking for this episode is just sort of to talk about things that people might not know about ourselves that we haven't gone over in the
You did
episode
mention that
yet.
to me.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, my son, do you have like this crazy list of questions that you're gonna like nail me?
Well, I've got a few
for?
things on.
Oh,
It's not like questions.
I'm
it's just sort
afraid.
of things in general.
Okay.
And it's funny that you sort of brought up that, like, yeah, we don't, when it comes to eating, we try to be health conscious. We don't eat a lot of carbs. You sort of recently got a little bit back more into baking on the weekends. Like, we always buy fruit, we buy bananas. Whenever they start to go, you turn them into banana muffins
Yes.
for us to have sort
Yes.
of like as maybe a breakfast or a little side snack.
Well,
But
yeah.
sort of what that reminded me
Yeah.
of was back when COVID was really starting to start going on. You bought a bread maker.
No, I didn't buy it. It was a gift from my friend Lisa Edgar in Barrie. She
Yeah.
sent it to us
So
over COVID.
you got the bread maker, and what you started was you started making
Yeah.
people bread just to give to them and say,
I
"Hey,
did.
Here's some bread. Hope you're."
Oh, you're making your mama look really good in this light. It's not
It's
only
easy-
just the
it's
light
easy to-
here.
it's easy to do.
Aw, thanks.
So sort
Kim.
of what spurred that on for you, do you think?
For me, yeah, right there.
Yep.
Okay, for me, I think that I've always been a very nurturing and take care of people person. And I know over COVID, I guess we shouldn't be saying that word because of the algorithm.
All good.
I
All
know
good.
over that period of time, a lot of us, all of us across the world was like, what is going on?
Wasn't a great time.
There were lineups at the grocery store. I remember everything was shut down. So first and foremost, when we did one of our live chats, now I'm going off topic, somebody in there, it was when we did it on the Friday, somebody said, oh, you're a real estate agent, you must be rich. That's farthest from the truth. This is not
If only.
listing houses in Los Angeles or Hollywood or selling Sunset. The average commission here could be anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 or $15,000, depending on the price of the home. And that might have to last you if you don't do another deal. So we really, as real estate agents, we were an essential business deemed. But we had so many restrictions put on our businesses from the Ontario Real Estate Association. We couldn't just show houses to anybody. They could only be buyers that actually had already sold their home and would be homeless if we didn't go out. Of course, we couldn't do open houses. And then that period of time as well, many sellers clearly were too afraid to put their houses on the market. So our business changed.
Yeah.
Everybody else's life changed where, you need toilet paper and nobody could get it. So during that period of time, I went into how am I going to look after me and my family, because my business now is almost shut down. I mean, it was the worst period for our business in the beginning. That all changed. And then it was like, how can I help other people? So what I did during that time was I put some feelers out to different people that I knew in the school system, teachers and principals and so forth. Are you hearing anything in your community among the schools of families that need extra help?
Yeah.
We had just got this bread maker. It was a gift from a friend of mine who, she of course was a school teacher. She was still working because everything went hybrid. But she knew my business had suffered, everybody across the world, everybody. Yeah. So she was like, Tara, take this gift. It was phenomenal. So one of the things that I did was I was like, okay, well, if families can't easily go to a store to get bread, I'm just going to go. I waited in line at Bulk Barn in order to get in. And I bought everything I needed to make bread. And that's what I did. I started making, I think I made 3 to 4 loaves a day. And then I would put them in Ziploc bags. Yep. And as people were saying to me, this family's in need, this mom and dad both can no longer work.
Yeah.
Both their business have been shut down. And of course, we were only getting $2,000 a month from CERB.
Yeah.
I just started delivering. I did more than that too. I also got in contact with a local butcher and said, listen, I've got a list of about 25 families in dire need. Angelo's Butcher Shop. Hey. He was one of our sponsors. And he said, Tara, I'm going to give you everything at a discounted price. We worked out what meat could he provide that would take a family more than one meal. So we knew it had to be a lot of ground hamburger. We knew that it probably would be a pork roast or a beef roast where somebody could get multiple meals out of one large item. And then I paid for it. He gave it to me at a crazy, crazy price. And I think everybody got 4 pounds of hamburger. They got a roast and they got, I think, a dozen pure ground beef actual hamburgers.
Mhm.
He put them in a box for me. I would bake the bread, and then we would get in touch with the people because it was frozen.
Of course, yeah.
and deliver it to their doorstep. And I did that for, I think it was 5 months
It was
straight.
months, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But that was a group effort. Lisa for the bread maker, Bulk Barn for letting me call ahead of time and say, I'm feeding more families
Secure
in
that
need.
flour, yep.
Please let me in. And
Yeah.
then, of course, Angelo for giving me such a great discount.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a huge effort, and I think
Yeah.
it's obvious that you did a lot of good with that.
Yeah.
One thing I remember from that was on top of the bread that you were making for people in need,
Yep.
the bread maker came with its own recipe book. So you would experiment with that every now and then as well.
Mhm.
And you, well, even long before the bread maker, you would make banana bread. And you were always really good at making banana bread. So you're
Yeah.
like, well, why don't I try this banana bread recipe?
Yeah.
Just for fun, just for us. And what ended up happening was I was in the basement
It was an epic
and
fail.
you called me up and you're like, something's wrong with this.
Yeah.
So I came up and I looked in, and
Yeah.
it was just a mess of like banana flour and stuff like all twisted up. And I'm like,
It
Okay,
looked-
yeah.
Yeah, it was very raw. Like, and it was
s-
already on the cook cycle. That's when I called you up, and I'm like,
yeah, something
What is
was going
happening?
on here because like
What
you had the recipe book right there. So it's like,
everything was in there according to the book.
so I was looking at
But-
it, and for a second I was like, okay, what's going on here? Because obviously something happened. You were making banana bread jam, is what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
You accidentally pressed the jam button instead of the bread button.
If anybody
at some
has
point.
a bread maker, you know that you've got to click the right, it's called the right mode. So when you're baking bread, you click the bread mode. When, apparently who knew you could make jam in this bread maker.
You could apparently.
But anyways,
Probably not
thanks
like
for bringing
that.
out the epic, going from charity to, oh yeah, by the way, you suck.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, it's a little bit of the fun mixed
Yeah.
in as well. And also, while we were back in Whitby, what you would also do is you would volunteer your services to Beer Fest. And I think I remember there was a time when
No,
there was a
I'm sorry, Austin, Rib Fest.
Rib Fest.
Yeah.
Well, there was
Yeah.
a time when you were doing that, and
Yeah.
they would go all out for that. Like they would bring in. It basically turned into like a mini amusement park. Honestly,
I
Like
think our subscribers know what Rib Fest is.
Yeah, like they would have
it's
like
a big deal.
Yeah, but there was once where there was like a huge storm rolling in.
I didn't work that day.
Oh, really? I could've
I
sworn
didn't
you were
work that
there.
day. It was the year before. It was before I volunteered. So if I actually, let's talk about Rib Fest. I'm a big believer in giving back. And Rib Fest is run in communities throughout the world
Yeah,
by the Rotary Club. And what a lot of people don't know about the Rotary, I don't belong to Rotary. I have been almost applied to be a Rotarian multiple times. But the Rotary clubs in the individual communities give back not only to the community, they raise a lot of money through their events, but they also are highly involved in worldwide need.
Right.
So if there's a school that needs to be built in Africa, a lot of the money that they collect through Rib Fests and other things that they do throughout the year goes to their worldwide projects that they're doing. So it was through our lawyer, oh my gosh, Patrick Bennett, our lawyer, he's one of our sponsors as well, that I got, you get to know the people that you refer your clients to. And then he was really involved with Rotary. Then our good friend Matt, the Oak and the Ale, is a Rotarian, or was at the time. So they needed people to volunteer.
right.
And that's where I was like, okay, there's not enough Rotarians to run these big events. They count on other people to kind of help out. So I got my Smart Serve and worked in the beer tent.
right.
The
yes.
the year before I volunteered, there was a thunderstorm that came on the Sunday.
A strong one.
It was literally within the last few hours. They shut down earlier on Sundays, and lightning struck. And I'll tell you, interesting that you brought this up. One of my cousins was in, not the beer tent, but was in one of the eating tents, and she was struck by lightning that day when it hit.
Ooh.
So following years after, my cousin Kim, Ribfest, at least for the Whippy one, if there's thunderstorms moving in, it's shut down.
Yeah.
They don't try to keep things running.
Of course.
But there was a lot of people that day that ended up getting very, very seriously hurt.
Whew.
And it was not a day I volunteered. And I know that particular day, I'm sure anybody can look it up in the newspapers that's online. There were so many of the public and the Rotarians that went into full mode in helping everybody that was injured.
Of course, yeah.
And there's also paramedics always on site.
Yeah.
There's always
Right,
backup.
of course, yeah.
But there's some great things that people can take part in just to help their community, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, and you were always really big on that, on just finding ways to give back, whether through social events, through charities, or just figuring out a way for you to just do something on your own and with help from certain people.
You know what? It's just who I am.
Yeah.
I remember during the pandemic, I remember, especially because all of the businesses, especially the restaurants, suffered so greatly.
It's a rough time to be a restaurant.
And, there were times when you could only do takeout.
Yep.
Or, when restrictions came on, they were only allowed to have up to 10 people in the restaurant. I mean, that's not enough to even pay the staff. Like the loss that they had, and I have a lot of friends that are in the service industry and have their own businesses.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I tried to do, because then real estate really started picking up.
Yeah.
Because now everything was going in bidding wars and so forth. So as for realtors, we were actually really back working 100%, but other people were not. So then I started buying gift certificates. I would call the Crooked Uncle, Teddy, and I would say, okay, Ted, I'm going to come in. I want you to get me 10 $25 gift certificates, and I'm going to raffle. I'm going to do draws and give them away. Mm-hmm. And then Oak and Ale, hey, Matt, it was not the Oak and Ale then, it was the Royal Oak.
Oak, yeah.
I'm coming in and I'm going to buy 20 $25 gift certificates from you. And then what I started doing was on my Instagram, just saying, okay, everybody, I know there's a lot of people out of work right now. Please put a comment in here. And then every single Friday, we're going to do a draw to give away a gift certificate in order to help any families in need.
Yeah.
So I did that multiple times, it's a good feeling.
It is,
and
of course.
It's not expensive to do it.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very incredible of you, and it's something I'm quite proud of when it comes to
thank you.
Knowing you, being your son, just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about this? Let's put myself on the spot. What would be something that people maybe here don't know about me?
Well, I think our viewers are really getting to know you, for sure. Mm-hmm. I think that you've been very, very honest about you and who you are and what you've struggled with.
Yeah.
I'm sure our viewers can see that you are a lot taller than me, if any of you have looked at our thumbnails anywhere.
I'll tell you what, as the youngest in the family, me being the tallest, it feels wrong. Feels wrong.
Why don't you tell everybody how tall you are?
I hover somewhere around 5'11" or 6 feet.
You're 6, honey. I don't know why you say 5'11".
Well, I don't measure myself.
You've never been
I don't measure
5'11".
myself all the time.
You are the last time we measured you, you were straight 6 feet.
Yeah, which again, when you grow up and you used to be the shortest person in the family, and then all of a sudden your older brother stops growing, but you keep going that little bit more. It's like, no, this is wrong. You're supposed to be taller. Why is this happening?
I think as well, Austin, I think that for people that maybe haven't watched maybe season 1 to kind of hear what you've talked about in regards to the mental health journey and some diagnosis that have happened through your journey.
Right.
I think a lot of people might feel, if they're basing it on the end of season 2 and season...
3
we just started 3. So not the end of season 2, beginning of season 2. I think people might think that you're actually very outgoing. And I think for the viewers that maybe haven't watched from the beginning, maybe go through, really what a typical day might be like for you, not being outgoing.
So yeah, that's actually, definitely introverted, though mixed with some other stuff. So yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned that. Like, obviously when I'm comfortable, I'm with someone I'm comfortable with, I can, just do this whole back and forth and it's all natural.
Oh, for sure.
But in general, I'm a very shy person. I'm very introverted, so it can actually be really difficult for me to form those connections where I'm comfortable enough to be super social. And also, while I was in therapy for reasons that we'll get into, I was also pretty definitively diagnosed with it by my therapist with social anxiety, which pretty much just means really large groups and social situations I mentally just sort of have trouble dealing with. Like, my social battery runs out very quickly the more people around me there are.
And you know what? It's funny because I'm always going to refer back to that episode because that is one of my favorite episodes because you were so open and honest about the day that you felt, life might not be worth living, to, getting the help that you needed and to discovering, okay, I'm not just shy. There's actually an attachment here. There's actually an explanation why, when I walk into a group of people, I'm not welcome back, everybody, like you are when you're here with me.
Exactly. It's like walking into a party of, let's say, 60, 70 people. Average person goes in, they're like, oh, let's look at all the people here. Where's the food? Where's the drinks? Where's the people that I know that I can really socialize with? The general stuff. For me, it's like, okay, 60, 70 people. Where's the nearest corner?
Right.
That I can just sort of hang out in until it's time for me to politely leave.
I think that would shock our viewers because what they see here and what you do deal with fairly on a daily basis. Not that you're around that many people on a daily basis.
Sure, yeah.
But I've seen it as your mom. I've seen sometimes I felt like even when you were very little, dragged you to social events.
That's probably accurate,
even when you were very little, you were only really comfortable with the 4 of us.
Yeah.
Yes, there were very, very good friends that became like aunts and uncles to you. And
Sure.
I know you were 100% comfortable with them. But if we were to say to you, hey, we're going to go to so-and-so's house for dinner, we're going to sing karaoke, you're going to watch videos and Walt Disney, if I'd have given you a choice, or you can stay home, 100,000,000%, we always knew you would go, I'll stay home.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely common.
Sometimes I think you're still like that too. Hey,
honestly, I don't think that's changed all that much.
Right.
Like, it's sort of like a conflict between the two sides of my brain. Like the side that's like, okay, I can't just be like a complete shut-in. I need to socialize. I need to go out to certain events. And then the other half, it's like, yeah, but there's going to be people there. There's going to be a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And within 30 minutes, you're going to be tapping your foot furiously thinking, oh God, when can I get out of here?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
But
Yeah.
let me ask you though, because you had therapy for quite a while,
yeah,
did they not give you techniques to do to kind of help ease that part of your situation?
in part, honestly, because what brought me to therapy was my depression, which I was
Yeah.
sort of going through a bad time at the
Crisis.
time.
Yep.
The social anxiety part of it was sort of like an explanation, a thing that made me go,
Okay.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
It sort of like connected the dots for me of like,
Yeah.
oh, this isn't like, oh, you're just shy. There's actually a diagnosable reason why you act this way. It helped me to understand it so I can sort of apply it more in the future.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the therapy was really focused on my mindset when it comes to dealing with
The crisis you were
the
under.
crisis I was
Yeah.
currently
That
under.
makes sense.
Which,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
which took a lot of my focus.
Yeah.
So,
I think our viewers would be really interested to know that about you, and that's why this has been so good
mhm.
for your anxiety that you have in social settings.
Yeah.
You know, what my hope is, because everybody that watches you behind the microphone, even in our old set, I mean, if I had a nickel for every message I got from just the people that already pre-existing knew
Mhm.
Austin and was like, what am I seeing right now? This is not the Austin I knew. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
hoping that this will continue to be an element for, walking into different settings and maybe in the future not having that automatic shutdown.
Yeah.
And Austin, at the end of the day, I think for the most of us, all of us really are comfortable with people that we know.
Of course.
I mean,
yeah.
it isn't easy walking into any big situation and going, like when you said, I'm looking for the people I know, I'm an outgoing person.
Yeah.
If I'm scanning a room, I'm scanning it for the people that I know.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but you know what? I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Always.
I suppose for me, it's like, I guess the best way to describe it is there will be people I know and people I'm comfortable with. And that list doesn't always intersect. So
Right.
like I can go to an office party and I'll know every single person there, but it can be really tough for me to go, okay, let's just loosen up. Let's be myself around this person because I might not know them on that level. And because I don't know them on that level, it's tough for me to get to know them on that level because it requires me putting a lot of effort into bring down the social barriers and just be comfortable. It's tough to describe in simple words, but
you're causing yourself anxiety even thinking that, Austin.
I
at
know.
the end of the
a lot of
day-
it comes down to overthinking, let's be honest.
Yeah, you walk into a room, as long as you know them, that's all that matters,
Yeah.
right? It's just a matter of saying hi. Listen, at the end of the day, when you walk into a room, what I always try to remember is they might be having the same kind of anxiety I'm having.
Right.
And we're not here to make best friends with everybody. We're just here to be at an event for the reason why we're there.
Yeah.
Supporting A, B, C, D, whether it's a wedding or so forth. But you know what? I love you, kid.
Oh, well, I love you too.
You and your brother just mean the world to me, and I wouldn't be anywhere else. I'm so grateful.
Well, you mean the world to
Yeah.
us too.
And we're grateful for you guys.
Yep.
Yeah. And we want to just sort of say, everybody, if you have any ideas about what you would like us to see, if you want to see more games, if you want to see what our life is like behind the scenes,
Yeah.
mastering the real estate business, whatever it is, please put a comment below. Tell us what your favorite part of this video is, or maybe another video.
Absolutely.
Don't forget, we need you to subscribe. We got a lot of subscribers and we're so thankful. We owe it to you. But a lot of you are watching that haven't subscribed yet. So you gotta hit that subscribe button for us. We really appreciate it. And you know what?
What's that?
Thank you for being part of this ride.
Absolutely.
We're just laughing through life with a mom and her son.
Yeah, couldn't do this without any of you. Thank you so much. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Give us ideas for future episodes. We read every comment. And remember, life's crazy. We can't change that, but we can talk about it. Oh, we're doing the synchronized finger point now.
We can
I like
talk
that.
about it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we will.
All right, take care,
Rock,
everybody.
paper, scissors.
Oh.
And we're out. See you later, everybody.